Filipino and American troops begin annual joint drills in the Philippines at locations facing the West Philippine Sea and the Taiwan Strait. The Balikatan exercises this year will include, for the first time, an integrated air and missile defense simulation.
Security alliances across the Indo-Pacific are changing quickly as tensions rise in the region. One of the clearest signs of this shift is the expansion of Balikatan, the largest annual military exercise between the United States and the Philippines. The drills have grown rapidly in recent years. In 2024, more than 16,000 troops took part in the exercise, including about 11,000 American soldiers and 5,000 Filipino troops, along with observers from several allied countries. The 2026 exercise is expected to mark a major turning point. Japan plans to deploy around 1,000 personnel from the Japan Self-Defense Forces, which would be its largest participation ever in Balikatan. This move shows how regional security cooperation is expanding. It highlights Japan's growing defense role, stronger cooperation between the United States and the Philippines, and the emergence of a wider network of military partnerships across the Indo-Pacific, especially as tensions continue to rise in the South China Sea. The military exercise Balikatan is a long-running defense drill between the United States and the Philippines. The word Balikatan means shoulder to shoulder in Filipino, symbolizing the close alliance between the two countries. The exercise is based on the U.S. Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty, which commits both nations to support each other if either country faces an armed attack. Over the years, Balikatan has become one of the most important joint training events in Southeast Asia. At first, the exercise mainly focused on counterterrorism training and disaster response. But as the security situation in the Indo-Pacific changed, the drills expanded to include more advanced military operations. Recent exercises now feature amphibious landings, missile defense training, maritime patrols, and joint air-sea combat operations. With thousands of troops, modern weapon systems, and growing international participation, Balikatan has evolved from a simple training exercise into a major platform for strengthening military cooperation in the region. The 2026 edition of Balikatan is expected to include a major new development: the deployment of around 1,000 personnel from the Japan Self-Defense Forces. This would be the largest Japanese participation in the exercise since Japan first joined in a limited role. The deployment shows how Japan is becoming more involved in regional security cooperation alongside the United States and the Philippines. Some of the Japanese troops are expected to come from the Amphibious Rapid Deployment Brigade, a specialized force created to defend and retake remote islands. During the exercise, Japanese forces will likely train in amphibious landings, island defense operations, and disaster response missions together with American and Filipino troops. This expanded participation is important because it strengthens trilateral cooperation and shows Japan's growing willingness to play a more active role in maintaining security across the Indo-Pacific. For many years after World War II, Japan kept a very limited military role. Its pacifist constitution, especially Article 9 of the Japanese Constitution, renounced war and restricted the country from maintaining offensive military forces. As a result, Japan focused mainly on defending its own territory through the Japan Self-Defense Forces, while relying heavily on its security alliance with the United States for protection. In recent years, however, Japan has gradually expanded its defense role. Rising regional tensions and growing security concerns have encouraged Tokyo to strengthen its military partnerships and increase defense spending. Japan's defense budget reached about $52 billion in 2023. And the government has announced plans to raise spending to 2% of GDP by 2027. Japan has also deepened security cooperation with countries like the Philippines and Australia, showing that it is becoming a more active player in Indo-Pacific security. The Philippines holds a very important position in the Indo-Pacific because of its geography. The country sits between the Pacific Ocean and the South China Sea, placing it along some of the busiest sea routes in the world. Around 1/3 of global maritime trade passes through nearby waters each year. Because the Philippines consists of islands, it also offers key locations for monitoring sea lanes and responding to security challenges in the region. The Philippines is also a major security partner of the United States, connected through the U.S. Philippines Mutual Defense Treaty. In recent years, cooperation has expanded through the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, which allows American forces to rotate through several Philippine military bases. At the same time, the Philippines has strengthened defense ties with Japan, receiving patrol vessels, radar systems, and other maritime security support to help monitor activity in disputed waters. The United States plays a central role in maintaining security across the Indo-Pacific. Through alliances, military bases, and regular joint exercises, the United States maintains a strong presence in the region. One of the key organizations managing this presence is the United States Indo-Pacific Command, which oversees military operations across a vast area stretching from the west coast of the United States to the Indian Ocean. The command coordinates thousands of troops, naval fleets, and air forces to support regional stability and respond to security challenges. In recent years, the United States has focused on strengthening cooperation among its allies rather than relying only on one-to-one partnerships. Military exercises like Balikatan help build this network of cooperation by allowing different armed forces to train together. Through these drills, allied militaries practice sharing intelligence, coordinating operations, and responding quickly to crises, helping create a stronger and more connected security system across the Indo-Pacific. The expansion of Balikatan is closely linked to the rising security tensions across the Indo-Pacific. One of the main flashpoints in the region is the South China Sea, where several countries, including China, Vietnam, and the Philippines, have competing territorial claims. The area is extremely important because it carries a large portion of global trade and is believed to contain major oil and natural gas reserves. As tensions in the region have grown, many countries have increased military cooperation to strengthen deterrence and stability. Exercises involving the United States, Japan, and other partners demonstrate that regional allies are prepared to work together in response to potential security challenges. These drills are often described as a form of deterrence through presence, showing that coordinated military partnerships are becoming more important for maintaining the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. Exercises like Balikatan allow allied militaries to practice a wide range of operations that could be needed during a crisis. One key focus is amphibious warfare, which involves landing troops from ships onto coastal areas. This type of training is especially important for the Philippines, since the country has more than 7,600 islands, and defending these islands requires the ability to quickly move forces by sea and air. The exercise also includes maritime surveillance and humanitarian disaster response. Forces practice monitoring activity in nearby waters such as the South China Sea, using ships, aircraft, and radar systems to track vessels and share information. At the same time, troops train for disaster relief missions like delivering medical aid, evacuating civilians, and rebuilding infrastructure after storms. These skills are important in a region that often faces powerful natural disasters such as Typhoon Haiyan. Large military exercises such as Balikatan also carry important diplomatic and political messages. When countries train together in large operations, it shows that their partnerships are strong and that they are willing to cooperate on regional security. Japan's decision to send around 1,000 troops demonstrates that Japan is becoming more active in working with the United States and the Philippines to support stability in the Indo-Pacific. At the same time, these exercises send signals to other countries watching the region. Joint drills show that allied militaries can coordinate operations and respond together if tensions rise, especially in areas such as the South China Sea. While supporters say stronger partnerships help maintain peace, there is also debate within Japan about expanding military activities abroad because of the country's long-standing pacifist policies. Japan's expanded participation in Balikatan may be the beginning of deeper military cooperation between the United States, Japan, and the Philippines. If Japan continues sending larger forces to future exercises, Balikatan could become a regular trilateral training event. This would help the three countries improve communication, coordination, and joint planning during both military and humanitarian operations. The exercise may also grow to include more partners from across the Indo-Pacific. Countries such as Australia, South Korea, and India have already increased cooperation in regional security activities. As more countries participate in joint exercises, analysts believe the Indo-Pacific could develop a wider network of security partnerships aimed at maintaining stability and cooperation across the region. Japan's plan to deploy around 1,000 personnel to Balikatan in 2026 highlights how security cooperation in the Indo-Pacific is evolving. What began as a joint training exercise between the United States and the Philippines is now becoming a broader platform for regional cooperation, with Japan playing a larger role. As tensions remain high in areas like the South China Sea, exercises like Balikatan help strengthen coordination between allied militaries and demonstrate their commitment to maintaining regional stability. Japan's expanded participation reflects a wider shift towards stronger partnerships across the Indo-Pacific, where countries are increasingly working together to address shared security challenges.